Ever feel like you're kind of like alone in your witchcraft journey? Like you're missing that connection with others who really get it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely. Yeah, it's
Well,
a common feeling, I think.
you're not alone at all. We're going to dive deep into witchcraft communities today.
Awesome.
We'll explore like the different types
Okay.
and unpack why they're so important. We'll also give you some tips on finding your perfect fit. It doesn't have to be a solo journey.
It's really interesting how even though witchcraft is often seen as like a solitary path,
Right.
there's this really strong pull towards community. Like it's just kind of built in, you know?
Yeah, it's like we're hardwired for it.
Yeah, exactly.
We're drawing on an excerpt from the article, Building Your Witchcraft Community, Tips for Finding Your Coven for this deep dive.
Oh, very cool.
So let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
Why is community so important in witchcraft, even for those who might prefer to practice alone?
Well, think about it. Even the most like seasoned solitary witch, they're gonna hit a roadblock now and then. Maybe a spell just isn't working, or they need a fresh perspective on a ritual. Having like a network of other witches who understand what you're going through can be invaluable. It's like
Yeah.
this support system and think tank all in one.
I love like that feeling of someone gets me. And not just on a surface level, but like on this magical
Yeah,
level,
exactly.
deep
That's a
down.
deeper connection.
It really is.
Yeah, and beyond just the emotional support, being part of a community can actually make your practice stronger, you know?
Oh, how so?
Well, when you're working with other people during rituals or spells,
Huh?
you're all sharing energy, right?
Uh-huh.
And it creates a kind of synergy that you just don't get when you're working alone.
Okay.
Each person's intention like adds fuel to the fire.
I see. So it's not just about like hand holding or anything, it's about collective empowerment.
Exactly. And you're also exposed to new ideas and techniques that you might not have come across on your own.
So you got to level up.
Yeah, you level up your witchcraft skills.
Cool.
It's really great for growth.
So we've talked about like why community is so important,
Yeah.
but what does that actually look like in the witchcraft world? What are we talking about here?
Well, the article lays out four main types of communities.
Right.
You've got covens, circles, or study groups, online communities, and then like what's happening locally in your area, like shops or events.
Okay, cool. So we've got four distinct flavors of witchcraft community.
I like that.
Let's start with the one that people probably think of first. Covens.
All right. Yeah, covens are often what people picture when they hear like organized witchcraft.
Right.
They're usually structured groups with shared beliefs and rituals, often with a specific lineage they follow, like Wicca or Druidic traditions.
Right.
And there's this strong sense of history and like established practice.
So there's a lot of tradition and purpose there.
Hmm.
But I'm also thinking there must be like a certain level of commitment involved. It's not just like casually dropping in whenever you feel like it, right?
You're absolutely right. Covens are more than just meetups. They
Okay.
usually have, rules, hierarchies, maybe initiation processes,
Mhm.
and expectations for the members. It's more like joining a secret society than, like a book club.
That makes sense. So while they offer amazing opportunities for learning and mentorship,
Yes.
it sounds like it takes real dedication to be part of a coven. It's about being an active participant, not just showing up.
Definitely. And finding a coven that actually aligns with your specific path and values can take time.
Hmm.
And not every coven is open to new members either. So you might need to like do some research, network a bit to find the right fit.
Okay, covens sound like a really enriching experience, but they definitely require that commitment. What about people who are maybe just starting out or are looking for something a little more relaxed?
That's where circles and study groups come in. They're much more informal,
Ah.
more flexible, often really great for beginners or people who are just like dipping their toes in, exploring different kinds of witchcraft.
So almost like Witchcraft 101.
Yeah.
Less about strict traditions, more about experimenting and learning together.
Totally. You might have open discussions, group rituals. Maybe you're all reading the same book and talking about it.
Yeah, cool. It sounds a lot less intimidating, but I'm guessing there's some downsides to this type of community too.
Yeah, sometimes the lack of structure can be a bit of a double-edged sword.
How so?
Well, it's great for flexibility, but it can also lead to things being a little inconsistent.
Okay.
Groups can kind of fall apart if people's interests change.
Hmm.
And you might not have that same sense of shared purpose or tradition that you would find in a coven.
So it's about finding that balance between like freedom and structure.
Right.
Covens are about diving deep into tradition,
Yeah.
while circles are more about exploration and personal growth.
Hmm.
But what about people who don't have access to any groups in person? Or maybe they prefer to connect online?
Well, that's where online communities come in, and they've just exploded in recent
I
years.
bet.
Connecting witches from all over the world, you know? We're talking Facebook groups, Discord servers, forums, subreddits, you name it.
It seems like there's a digital coven for everything.
Yeah, there really is. And then you have Witch Talk, YouTube channels, Patreon groups, all led by like experienced practitioners. It's an amazing resource.
Yeah, I've definitely seen those popping up. It's really cool to see so many people connecting online.
Yeah.
It makes the world feel a little smaller,
Mm-hmm.
but I imagine there are things to watch out for, too, with anything online.
Oh, for sure. The biggest challenge is being able to tell what's legit. It's
Ah,
harder to figure out if someone's credible online.
right.
Anyone can say they're an expert. So it's important to do your research. Find groups or people that you really connect with and feel trustworthy.
Right. Because witchfluencer isn't exactly a regulated job title.
Yeah, exactly. And as awesome as online connection is, it can sometimes lack that personal touch that you get from interacting face to face.
Yeah, I can see that. So it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
Amazing access, but also a need to be cautious and maybe that longing for that real-life connection.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us to our fourth type of community. Local metaphysical shops and events.
Yes, these are like your magical hubs. Think witchcraft shops, holistic fairs, pagan festivals, any place where you can find like-minded people coming together.
Mhm.
They might have workshops, full moon gatherings, celebrations for the Wheel of the Year. It's a really cool way to tap into your local scene and meet people who share your interests.
Yeah, it's like a community notice board for all things witchy. You can find out what's happening, connect with practitioners, and maybe even pick up some supplies while you're there.
Absolutely. You get that in-person connection, chances to network and learn from workshops, and you're supporting local businesses.
Yeah.
But where you live is going to play a big role. Not every place is going to have the same kind of shops or events.
Right, of course.
It varies depending on your area.
Okay, so we've got these four awesome options. Covens, circles, online communities, and then the local scene. It's a lot, and I imagine it can feel overwhelming to even know where to start.
Yeah, it's like stepping into a magical library filled with endless possibilities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do you choose? Well, the article gives some helpful tips for finding the right fit for you.
Okay, good, because I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, finding your community is really personal. There's no like one-size-fits-all approach. What works for one witch might not work for another at all.
That's so true.
It's like how a wand chooses a wizard.
Exactly.
And the first tip, according to the article, is getting really introspective. What are you looking for in a community? What's important to you?
It's all about self-reflection,
Mm.
you know, asking yourself some key questions. Do you thrive on structure and tradition? Or are you more drawn to flexibility? Do you resonate with a specific path? And what are your goals for joining a community? Are you seeking mentorship, friendships, a shared space for rituals, or all of the above?
So before jumping into the where,
Yeah,
you got to figure out your why,
exactly. When you know what you want out of the experience,
right?
it's easier to narrow down your options and find the community that will really resonate with you.
Okay, so you've done some soul searching and have a better idea of what you're looking for. What's the next step in this magical treasure hunt?
Well, the article suggests starting small, specifically online.
Makes sense. It's a pretty low-pressure way to test the waters without having to, break out the ritual robes right away.
Exactly. Join some forums, groups, servers, just see what's out there. Participate in discussions, ask questions, see how the groups interact.
Yeah.
It's like a meet and greet before you decide to commit to anything serious.
It's like window shopping for covens, but from the comfort of your couch.
I love that. And it's a great way to learn from more experienced practitioners, maybe even find mentors or resources that speak to you.
Mhm.
Think of it as building your online network. You never know what connections you might make or doors that might open.
Oh, I like that.
Oh.
So you dip your toes into the virtual cauldron,
Mm-hmm.
you got a better sense of what's out there.
Yeah.
Now, how do you take it offline? What about meeting people in person?
Well, the article really stresses going to local events, metaphysical shops, holistic fairs, pagan festivals, see what kind of workshops or gatherings they have going on. Lots of groups have open celebrations where anyone is welcome.
It's a chance to feel the energy firsthand,
Yes.
meet people, and maybe even find some cool witchy tools or books.
Absolutely. It's about immersing yourself in the community and seeing where you feel drawn.
I like that. And then don't forget about networking. Ask around. See if your friends or people you know are part of any groups. Sometimes the best connections come from just talking to people. You'd be surprised how many folks have a friend of a friend who's into witchcraft.
Yeah.
Just put those feelers out there.
Yeah, definitely. And finally, and I think this is the most important tip of all, trust your gut.
Okay.
When you're looking at different communities, pay attention to how they make you feel. If a group feels like they're trying to control you or judge you,
Uh-oh.
yeah. Or if anything feels unsafe, walk away.
Major red flag.
Big red flag.
Yeah.
The right community will feel supportive, welcoming, and like they're empowering you. Trust your intuition.
It's like dating, but for covens. You've got to feel that spark.
Exactly.
So we've gone over the types of communities, the benefits of joining one, and some tips for finding the right fit. But what if, even after all that, you still haven't found your tribe? What if none of them quite feel right?
Right.
What then?
This is where I think the article gets really interesting. It suggests thinking about starting your own witchcraft circle.
Oh, I love that, the DIY approach to magic.
Yeah.
But where would you even begin with something like that?
Well, the article breaks it down into a few steps. Start by finding one or two people you trust, like like-minded folks that you connect with. Maybe they're friends who are interested in witchcraft or people you've met online or at events.
Okay, so building that core group, starting with a solid foundation of trust.
Right. Next, you need to decide on a focus for your circle. Will it be more about learning, spell work, just getting together and connecting, or like a mix of everything?
It's like writing a mission statement for your magical squad.
Yes. Defining your purpose from the start will help you find people who are on the same page and stay on track as a group.
What about things like, boundaries and expectations for the group?
Those are crucial.
Yeah.
The article emphasizes being really clear about those things from the get-go. Make sure there's mutual respect, that everyone's committed to keeping things private, and that you're creating an inclusive space for everyone.
It's about building that safe and supportive environment where everyone feels valued.
Exactly. And once you've got those basics in place, it's time to start gathering. It could be as simple as meeting for coffee, chatting online, or doing some simple rituals together.
Baby steps.
Yes.
Start small and go from there.
Right. And finally, let your circle grow organically. Don't try to force it. Let the magic happen naturally. It takes time to build a strong community, so focus on nurturing those connections and letting the energy flow.
I love that. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about all these different types of witchcraft communities, the benefits of joining one, some great tips for finding the right fit, and even how to create your own. Before we move on, what's the main takeaway here?
I'd say the main takeaway is that finding your witchcraft community is a very personal journey, and there's no right or wrong way to go about it.
It's not about following some set path. It's about creating your own magical map that leads you to a community that truly feels like home.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Thank you. And we'll be right back to delve even deeper into the world of witchcraft communities. Don't go anywhere.
Sounds good. Welcome back to our deep dive into witchcraft communities.
So we've been exploring the different types of communities that are out there and how to find one that's a good fit.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to also talk about WHY. Someone might want to join one in the first place.
Right. Like, what are the actual benefits besides just, having more witchy friends?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's in it for me?
Well, the source we're looking at, the article Building Your Witchcraft Community, really highlights how being part of a group can actually make you a stronger practitioner.
Oh, interesting.
It's not just about the social aspect. It's about deepening your connection to your craft.
I see.
Imagine being able to turn to like a whole network of experienced witches whenever you have a question or need advice.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
They can guide you, mentor you, just be there to support you on your path.
Yeah, it's like having this magical support system behind you, helping you navigate all the twists and turns.
Exactly. And then think about all the learning opportunities that come with being in a community.
Like what kind of stuff?
Well, you get to learn about different traditions and techniques, different ways of approaching magic that you might not have encountered on your own.
I can see that, yeah.
Everyone brings their own unique perspective and knowledge to the table.
It's like we're all sharing our own magical ingredients, and you get to try a little bit of everything.
I love that. And speaking of sharing, the article also talks about the benefit of shared resources.
Oh, yeah, that makes total sense.
Think about it. Books, herbs, crystals, all that stuff can get really expensive.
For sure.
When you're part of a community, you can all kind of pool those resources together, which makes them more accessible to everyone.
It's like a magical lending library.
I like that. But beyond those more practical benefits, there's also something really special about the energy you get from practicing with other people.
Oh, yeah, I totally get that. There's just something different about being in a room full of people who are all focused on the same intention.
You can really feel it.
The article talks about how group rituals and spells can create a synergy that amplifies everyone's intentions.
Okay.
And it just deepens your connection to the craft in a way that's hard to describe.
It reminds me of when you're singing in a choir and everyone hits that perfect harmony.
Yes,
It gives you chills.
exactly. It's about tapping into that collective power, both for your own personal transformation and for making positive change in the world.
I like that. So we've got knowledge sharing, mentorship, amplified energy, the joy of celebrating with like-minded people. I'm sold. But I think it's also important to address something that I know a lot of people worry about when it comes to joining a group.
What's that?
Fitting in. Like,
Huh.
what if you're afraid of being judged or feeling like you don't belong?
It's a really valid concern, and I think it goes back to what we were saying before about finding the right community for you. Yeah, finding the one where you feel truly comfortable being yourself.
Great. It's not about forcing yourself to fit into a mold that doesn't feel authentic to who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's about finding people who celebrate your individuality and support your unique path.
And that's where those tips we talked about earlier come in, right?
Exactly. Remember, figure out what you want in a community, start small online, go to some local events, talk to people, and most importantly, trust your gut feeling.
It's like a roadmap for finding your magical tribe.
I like that.
And if you run into a group that just doesn't feel right, don't be afraid to walk away.
Yes, trust those red flags. There are so many amazing and diverse communities out there. You're bound to find one that feels like home.
You just got to keep searching till you find the perfect fit.
Exactly. And if you can't find a community that aligns perfectly with what you're looking for,
Mm-hmm.
well, remember, you can always create your own.
Oh, yeah, the good old, if you want something done right, do-it-yourself approach to magic.
Exactly. Taking the initiative and building the community you wish existed. I love that. The article even outlines some steps to help you do that.
Okay.
It all starts with finding just one or two other people who are on the same page as you, people you really trust.
Okay.
And then you build it up from there.
Starting small, setting clear intentions for the group, and letting it grow organically.
Exactly. It's like planting a seed and watching it bloom into this beautiful, magical garden.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the different types of communities, the benefits of joining one, how to find the right fit, and even how to start your own. But what's like the core message here? What do we really want the listener to take away from all of this?
I think the most important thing to remember is that being part of a supportive community can be incredibly transformative.
Yeah, it goes way beyond just learning spells or celebrating the Sabbats.
Right. It's about personal growth, exploring your spirituality, and forging those deep connections with people who get what you're going through.
It's like finding your family, but with extra magic.
I love that. And it brings up this really interesting question that the article asks.
Oh, what's that? I'm intrigued.
What kind of energy do you want to bring to a community?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's not just about what you can get from a community. It's about what you can contribute to it.
What you can bring to the table.
Exactly. What gifts and talents and perspectives can you share to make the group even stronger?
I like that. It's recognizing that everyone has something valuable to offer, whether they're brand new to witchcraft or they've been practicing for years.
Absolutely. And through that exchange of energy and ideas, everyone grows and learns together.
So we've covered a lot today.
Hmm.
The benefits, the challenges, the different types of communities out there, even how to create your own.
Yeah, we have.
But at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
the most important thing to remember is this. The journey to finding your witchcraft community is a deeply personal one.
It is.
There's no right or wrong way to do it.
It's about following your intuition, your heart, and trusting that the right connections will happen when the time is right.
It's almost like the universe is conspiring to bring you together with your magical tribe.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. And when you find that tribe, it can be such a powerful and life-changing experience.
It really can.
It's about finding your place in that grand magical tapestry, weaving your own unique thread into this web of connections.
And knowing that you're not alone, that there are others out there who share your passions and your beliefs and your desire to connect with the magic all around us.
Beautifully said. Let's take a moment to just soak in everything we've explored so far. And then when we come back, we'll wrap up this deep dive with some final thoughts on the magic of community. We're back, wrapping up our deep dive into witchcraft communities.
Feels like we've been talking about this for ages.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But it's such a fascinating topic. We talked about the different ways witches connect, the benefits of finding your tribe, and even how to start your own circle.
It's been a really great conversation.
It has. And you know, there's one thing that keeps coming back to me as we've been talking.
What's that?
The idea that a really great community, a truly fulfilling one, isn't about finding people who just agree with you on everything, you know?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the importance of having different
Yeah,
perspectives.
exactly. It's about diversity of thought and practice.
Hmm.
The article we've been looking at, Building Your Witchcraft Community, touches on this a bit, but I think it's worth highlighting.
I totally agree. A community that encourages you to grow and change is going to be way more rewarding than one where everyone just kind of echoes your own beliefs back to you.
Right. Like if everyone already thinks the same way, what's the point? Where's the room for learning and expanding your understanding of magic?
Exactly. A healthy community is going to encourage those respectful debates, critical thinking, being open to different ways of looking at things.
It's about embracing those moments when someone says something that completely shifts your perspective.
I love those moments. And honestly, those moments usually come from bumping up against those different viewpoints.
Hmm.
Like really engaging in a conversation where you might not always agree.
It's not about shying away from disagreement. It's about using those disagreements as opportunities to learn and grow.
Totally. And, even within the witchcraft community, there's such a wide range of beliefs and practices.
Which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because magic is such a personal and evolving path.
Hmm.
So it makes sense that the community reflects that.
Absolutely. And I think that diversity of thought and practice is actually what makes the community so interesting and vibrant.
It's like a garden, with all sorts of flowers blooming together,
Oh, I love that.
each one beautiful and unique in its own way.
Yeah. And when those different flowers come together, they make this incredible tapestry of color and fragrance.
Exactly. So as you're on your journey to find your witchcraft community, remember to keep an open mind and heart, you know.
Be open to the beauty of it all.
Embrace the different ways of thinking and practicing that you'll encounter,
Yeah.
and don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone a little.
Because those are the spaces where real growth happens.
That's where you'll really discover the power of connecting with others and that magic of truly belonging.
So well said.
Thank you. Well, as we bring this deep dive to a close,
Hmm.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay, I'm listening.
Imagine for a moment that you've found your magical tribe. You're surrounded by people who support you, who challenge you, who inspire you to grow.
I love that.
What does that community look like? What kind of energy does it radiate? And most importantly, what role do you play in creating its magic?
Those are such powerful questions.
They are, and I think the answers are going to be unique to each individual.
That's the beauty of it.
It is. But one thing's for sure. The journey of finding your witchcraft community is a journey worth taking.
It really is.
It's a chance to connect with like-minded souls, to go deeper into your practice, and to discover that true magic of belonging.
Beautifully said.
Thank you. And with that, we come to the end of our deep dive into the world of witchcraft communities.
I've really enjoyed this.
Me too. We hope you've enjoyed listening along with us and that you feel inspired to set out on your own journey of connection.
And remember, trust your intuition, follow your heart,
Mm-hmm.
and never stop exploring the magical world all around you.
Until next time, happy seeking, everyone.